Right, the centre diff is a little bit worn, so that's the way I do it. I'll just get the engine in there where I can slide it around for my niche, because you can't push it forward or back. I've actually set that correctly, so it's not halfway on the cog, it's just, this is a different length, so it's not in it's down in the middle, it's towards one end, but that's fine as long as it's got a decent mesh. Now with this one I can't use the paper trick, which is a piece of paper in here and then push it up against it, because the teeth on the actual spur are worn. So what I'm actually doing is holding it with my thumb, and you can see I've got a little bit of mesh there, look. So if I hold it on the flywheel, I've got a little bit of mesh. So what happens is, because the teeth are a little bit worn, see when I do up this back screw, it twists the engine away. Can you see that? So you can see all of these moving when I twist this one at the back. So that's pulling this away from the actual car. So what I do is, as it's twisting, I sort of push down on it. You just get a little bit more better mesh on it. Or if it's not going right, just do up the front one. That will give you that mesh like that. You can hear it just knocking. As long as you got that little knock, that's you getting a room. That's you having the room inside the two cogs. So now if I move this now, when I've done it up, I might have to, let's have a look this side. So you can hear that knock. You can hear that. It's a little bit too close, but I'm leaving it for now because these teeth on the spur have been cut short. They're a little bit like the teeth on this. The edges have been cut short, so that's why I've put it in a little bit closer. Like this one, this is not a good example, but these are sharper than the other ones. So this on this is sharper, that these are short. So that's why I've left it like that. So I'll just nip them up. And then what I do is one by one put Loctite in there. Now I've got 3 different types. You've got this one, which everyone uses, which is the medium grade, and you've got low grade. Well, I've got the low grade, and you've got the wicking one. So basically this is a very low grade. This can do the job for stuff like engines and all that kind of stuff. If you've got high vibration, best to use this one. And there is a red one that's really Loctite. It's more strength, high strength. You can use this low one, which is really good. This is a low strength one, which will do with applications like this, because even this is too tight sometimes. You have to heat this up sometimes to get these screws out. So sometimes I've used this one and it's been just as good. I've never had a screw back out with this one. This one's a wicking grade one, as in if you've got a screw like this, you can just add the Loctite straight to the top of the screw without taking it apart. So if you've got screws like this and like these ones and all that, you can just, before you do the whole screw up, you could just put it into the threads, just do the screw up, and it will just Loctite it. And this is medium to high strength. This is a wicking grade, as in you could just add it to the screws like that, and it will just Loctite it straight in there, because it actually makes its way into the screw threads, a bit like WD-40, but just Loctites after a while. So things like these you can just Loctite into place while there. If you're doing a screw up and you've got a bit of a gap there, you could just put this in there and just carry on with the screw. Bits like this, where you've got no screws on the end, you can just add Loctite to the end of this, and instead of using like a nut, you can just add Loctite in there, and it will just Loctite this thread into this hub. You know, you'll probably have to heat it up to get it back out, but like that's what it does. That's what it means by wicking grade. So after all that, let's use the low grade one. Oh, and another tip, don't touch the actual screw with your actual Loctite, or touch anything with it, because it does clog it up. I've done it with the blue one. Like, sometimes you'll find it clogged up because some of the metal or the debris has got into the tip and it clogs it up. You have to keep on poking it to get it back out again. So yeah, don't touch the tip. So I can take this one out. Just put a bit of low grade. This goes everywhere. That's it. Oh, that's good. That's tough in there. Low grade stuff. So that goes on there, and then we've got my exhaust to fit, but we're not going to go on. We're not going to do that right now because I've got something coming for it. One thing I do want to do is chuck all of these bits in here. Let's put these to one side. So, okay, so that's looking good now. So, what we want to do is, we want to have a look at this servo horn. So late night wrench again. And see how everything fits on here. Does it straight away, or can it? I haven't got any screws up. Any screws underneath that one? Oh, I can see already on this side. That's a little trick my mate taught me. It's to put a bit of plastic into this. So okay, so does that fit in there? Looks like the wrong screw. So I can use that now. I know I can actually put a screw on the end of that. So that can be like that. Now with this one, can I put this one in between there as a modification? Will that work? Will that work? Let me just look at the... I'll be back on the camera. I'm just going to see how this goes back together. That's alright, because that's fine. That is definitely fine. I just want to check how this goes back together. I've taken it apart. I can't remember.
12 seconds later. A few moments later.
So I'm back again. So I've just set this up. I'm going to try this out. I'm going to keep this in my box of spares where it's got the original yellow one somewhere. It's in there, the original yellow one. So I just want to try this so I can adjust the brake without fearing that this is going to skip on the plastic tooth. So this is solid in there now. Done this one. So yeah, I've just done it like that. What I'm not bothered about is I just don't want these to pierce the tank. I was looking at this here and it was just, I thought it was going to pierce the tank, but it's all pierced the line. Look, even pierced the line. But it's so weak against it, it's not really, hopefully it's not going to touch anything. So it should be like that. It's not doing anything. I've got my finger in there, it's not doing anything against my finger. I might spray a little bit of Teflon in there. I can't really stop that from happening. I mean, if I hold it, it's fine. If I hold it there, it's fine. So I might just spray a little bit of Teflon just to give it a little bit more slippage. And this is screwed into this, which has got a thread, and it's into the bottom one, similar to what this is. This screws into the top here, and then it screws into the plastic, and the plastic stays there. So these actually stay still, but it's the actual sliding mechanism against these rods that actually this doesn't really have to do anything. I think more if you loosen it off a little bit more, these will turn a little bit more, but I've got it loose enough as it is. If I put it tight, it's a little bit tight, but look, if I put it loose, I'll just loosen it off, backing it off a little bit, and they're both held on. See, I can do it tight. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that. I'll take a longer screw with me just in case, so I can put a nut. I've still got a gap between the servo and the bottom linkage, because this one steps it up a bit. So if anything happens, put that screw in there and it will all work. I need to put a screw on the back of this one, which I've got a spare nut that goes on the back of this one, but this has got a thread in it, so I just left it. I'm happy with that. So now with that brake movement, even though I've got brake there, but I can apply a little bit more force. I can put more force on it, and that's what I wanted. So you can see the plate actually going to bend. It's putting that much force on it, which I don't want really. See, that's hardly anything. That's with the brake on. And now if I just touch the brake a bit more, it's nothing. So I have to make sure I have to set these before I start. So it's like that, and that's brake. Same with the back, that's brake. So okay, that's it for now. Let me set this. Okay, so that's proper brake. That's a runaway brake. That is, you can't do anything with that. That's really tight. So let's put this in here, and that's it for now. Till tomorrow. I've got a couple of bits should be turning up, and I'm going to leave my desk in a mess yet again. Please subscribe and click on the bell. I'll definitely get back to you. Laters.